Denver 8 TV, your city, your source.
Let me thank everyone for being here today. Thank you, Representative Duran, for being here as well. Trish, thank you for being here for Congresswoman DeGette. I want to thank Councilwoman Judy Montero, our leader. Chris Herndon is here. Councilman Herndon is here. Thank you as well for your presence and your leadership on this issue. We are excited to have everyone here today. In the media, we want to thank you for being here to cover this. We're grateful for the support and enthusiasm around this project. First off, I want to acknowledge all of our partners who have just been tremendous. I mentioned the leaders of City Council. I want to thank certainly the National Western Stock Show and Paul Andrews, the President CEO, Colorado State University Vice President Amy Parsons. I haven't seen Amy, but I did. Jocelyn is here. Jocelyn is behind me. There you are, Jocelyn. Thank you. Denver Museum of Nature and Science, George Sparks, and History Colorado President CEO, our good friend Ed Nichols. I want to thank you, Ed, over there. Thank you so very much for your leadership. Ron Williams as well, Chairman of the Board of the National Western Stock Show. I'll say these names in just a moment again. But today, the city formally submitted our application to the state for Regional Tourism Act funding of $117 million to help us transform our beloved January Stock Show event into a year-round National Western Center campus that will ignite not only North Denver, but the entire state of Colorado. Our vision for the National Western Center will double the number of new visitors to the campus to more than 2.2 million a year, which in turn will double the economic impact of this site to an estimated $200 million a year. And that is only the beginning. I have one word for this project and the role that the city of Denver is playing with its commitment: catalytic. The city is laying the groundwork for Denver's future by providing the infrastructure and the vision that will launch further investment in and around the National Western Center and all along the corridor of opportunity. Without a doubt, this project will transform North Denver, and because it will drive tourism and investment and create new jobs, we expect the entire region will benefit. The new National Western Center will provide a space for visitors from around the globe to come and talk about food and energy, health, and the environment with a reclaimed South Platte River along the western horizon. The state's $41 billion agriculture industry will receive a brand new level of support with an opportunity for agriculture innovation in this one-of-a-kind urban agricultural setting, not to mention the new equestrian center and equine sports medicine facility. Neighbors and anyone who wants to hop on the new rail line traversing the National Western Center campus will encounter 46 acres of new outdoor public spaces, including a new event park with access to running trails along the South Platte and into downtown. Stock show visitors who have been loyal and patient with aging facilities will find redevelopment that assures the future of the event for the next 100 years. On the grounds, the event has called home for over the past 100 years. New streets and bridges will reconnect the underserved neighborhoods of Globeville, Elaria, and Swansea to transportation, education, and economic opportunities. And with the help of the state and our partners, we will offer those kinds of opportunities not only to those who live nearby or in other parts of the city, but to new visitors from around the region and around the world, strengthening Denver as a top-rated destination for conventions and tourism. The vision of the National Western Center campus is bold and innovative and will be the catalyst that strengthens our economy for decades to come. A lot of work has gone into this plan and into putting together our nearly 100-page RTA application. Good reading. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge again our partners, the Western Stock Show Association, Chairman Ron Williams and President CEO Paul Andrews, Colorado State University Vice President Amy Parsons and Jocelyn Hittle, responsible for the Denver operational initiatives, Denver Museum of Nature and Science, President CEO George Sparks, and Ed Schultz, the CFO. History of Colorado, of course, again, Ed Nichols. Visit Denver, and more than 20 regional mayors who have signed on to support. And let me just give a special shout out to all of our regional mayors and their cities, city councils, and who were involved as well in signing on being a part of this RTA effort. I also like to thank the members of my team who have worked tirelessly to bring the RTA application forward. Of course, we're going to hear from Kelly Lead, our project leader, in just a moment. We could not have done this without Lottie Dula. And thank you so much for your leadership and support. Carrie Kennedy and her finance team, our CFO and deputy mayor, Diane Barrett, and the others who have had a little something, if anything, to do with our efforts. Finally, I want to thank the 30 members of the National Western Citizens Advisory Committee who helped us to ensure that the neighbors and the neighborhoods were front and center in creating this plan. Only through their united efforts, their dedication, and their hard work will we bring this vision to reality. And we do have a lot of work to do, but it's going to be made easier and I think much more powerful with the neighborhoods involved. Now, to tell us more about the National Western Center, it is absolutely my pleasure to bring forward the warrior who has carried us all forward on this project, and that would be Kelly Lead.
Good afternoon. It is a great honor to be here, and thank you, Mayor, for the introduction. You know, Denver is moving forward to make this bold vision a reality. And Mayor, without your leadership, we would not be here. So thank you for allowing us to think big and think boldly about what could be for this part of the city. The National Western Center campus really reflects the Mayor's vision to strategically align all the planning and implementation in this part of the city. And I think, in particular, the National Western Center emphasizes and really promotes what can happen when you synergistically bring a variety of what seem like disconnected projects together for a bigger purpose. By leveraging the National Western Center campus, we will activate 4 of the 6 NDCC portfolio projects to benefit the neighborhoods, the region, and tourists alike. The plan we're presenting completes 2 of 3 segments. Almost 83% of the campus is impacted by this investment, which will begin to make the necessary infrastructure investments that lay the groundwork for the investment in and around the National Western Center and the larger corridor of opportunity that links Denver Union Station to DIA. For example, adding 2 new connections between Washington Street and the National Western Drive at 49th and 51st Avenues will reconnect local neighborhoods. We will also improve pedestrian and bicycle facilities throughout the campus so that the campus is accessible to all. This infrastructure work sets us up to make additional investments to the rest of the campus in years to come. We will create, as the Mayor noted, 46 new acres of public outdoor open space in and around the facilities. The new campus in total will encompass some 240 acres, and when we build a new arena, ultimately, the campus will grow to over 270 acres. We will activate the South Platte River by making it healthy, visible, and accessible for community and tourists. We will do this by moving rail lines away from the river and creating open space along its banks, freeing up nearly a mile of riverfront for recreation and learning opportunities. The National Western Campus will be activated 365 days a year with programs for students, researchers, business people, tourists, and community members. This can be done by creating flexible indoor and outdoor spaces for a variety of uses, such as a public market, festivals, and retail. Creating hands-on, informal, and formal educational programs for children and lifelong learners. And a large multi-use outdoor event space to help take pressure off our city parks. The investments we make as a city to jumpstart this project will open the door for future investments, both public and private, as the project advances. We believe that the vision we've created with our partners and the community will benefit the entire state of Colorado. You know, one of our true champions of this journey is with us today, and we want to thank Judy Montero. Without her passion and her commitment to these neighborhoods, the importance of those neighborhoods could have gotten lost in this, but because of Judy and her commitment, the neighborhoods were always foremost in our minds as we went through this effort. It is a great honor and privilege to announce or to ask my friend and colleague, Judy Montero to come up and say a few words.
Hi, everybody. This is such an exciting day, and I hope that you'll share with our excitement. This is definitely a milestone, turning in this RTA. As many of you know, I represent Globeville, Elyria, Swansea, which is part of District 9, so welcome to District 9. But as many of you may or may not know, these neighborhoods have a very rich history of community, culture, and industry. They have been a safe place for generations of immigrants and hardworking people that are at the heart and foundation of our city. But these neighborhoods have not been integrated or connected with National Western in the past and have been left separated from the rest of the city of Denver. The new National Western Center project, however, we are all working to change that, to turn that around, to right that wrong in history. The people of Elyria, Swansea, and Globeville have been a part of the Citizens Advisory Committee from the beginning and have offered valuable, very valuable input into this project. The proposed National Western Center campus will reconnect our neighborhoods back to the city and to each other. New access to transit and educational and economic opportunities will transform this area, which has been gridlocked and underutilized for far too long. And we couldn't be more excited about what the future holds for these neighborhoods. One longtime Elyria, Swansea neighbor who has made a significant impact on this project is my friend, Betty Krim. And I'm going to say Swansea for you. Okay. Betty is 19 years old. Betty is 92 years old and once worked at the Denver Stock Show Exchange. She's been a thoughtful, vocal, beautiful community advocate for years and was part of the planning process for National Western Center from the very beginning. Betty has been instrumental in pushing this project towards inclusiveness for these neighborhoods. So instrumental that in December, we had the honor of presenting her with her very own street sign that will soon connect Globeville through the National Western campus to Elyria, Swansea. After we presented Betty with her street sign, which reads, Betty Krim Drive, she studied the map of where the road will soon be, looked up at us and said, isn't that something? I got a street named after me. I'm a connector. And that's what this project and the RTA application really means to us. It's an opportunity to connect people and our communities. It's my pleasure to introduce Miss Betty Krim.
I've been in this neighborhood a long time. Maybe that's why I got a street after me. It's named after me. I started working here when I first came to Denver. I worked down at the Livestock Exchange building in some of the commission companies and fell in love with the place and decided this was the place I wanted to live. So I tried to help the neighborhood as much as I could. Hopefully, I've done a good job, and I've tried. It's been a failure in sometimes, but when I was surprised with my sign, it was unbelievable. But I want everybody to know that the sign to me means the fact that I have been a part of this advisory committee, which I have been very helpful and very thankful for, because I think it's given us, as a neighborhood, a chance to really talk to each other and talk to people that we have been able to help them and make decisions, and it's been great. And so by that, with my name on there, not only was it my name, but it's just a sign that I wanted to represent the neighborhood, Swansea, Elyria, and Globeville. And that's very important to me. And because I'm on this committee, I especially want to thank Paul Emerson. Thank you very much. I think it's great. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the formal remarks. We will open it up for Q&A.
With the total tab, with the total tab that is 856 million, talk about the parts that aren't going to come from the state. Where is that money coming from?
So and again, of the 856 million, that tackles about 83% of the site and really sets the site up for long-term success. But the portions that are remaining are to the east of the Burlington Northern Line, which includes the Expo Hall, the arena, the CSU building, main building, and the 1909 building. We believe strongly that, and we've seen this certainly in the Central Platte Valley and lower downtown, and an example of Coors Field, that when the city has come in and made what I like to call surgical investments around infrastructure in particular, which is a lot of times the most risky work, right? It's the non-sexy stuff, but it's the stuff that makes the site work. Connecting the site so you can enter it from the west or the east or the north or the south, getting trunk infrastructure in place. Those things are fundamental to building a vibrant place. And so we think with the investments that we will make, which includes the request of the state and our partners, that private investment will follow. So it's a timing issue. One is a timing issue. Those two facilities, the Expo Hall and the arena, those are 6 to 10 years off in a planning phase. And so to even think about, how we fund those now would be really not a very fruitful exercise, because the market's going to change, conditions are going to change. But we really believe that by tackling the big infrastructure needs, that the private investment will follow. We certainly think the arena in particular sets up for a possible public-private partnership. We've talked about the Expo Hall being built not only to support the Colorado Convention Center by moving Home and Garden Show and the Auto Show to that facility, but also a potential Winter Olympic bid. And again, when you start to create a building that has that kind of flexibility, private dollars can be sought to help fund them. So we're very confident that with the investments we're going to make over the next 5 or 6 years, that the right private investment will come to this site.
How certain are you that November is when you'll seek the tax extensions from voters, and what will that campaign look like?
We probably more likely we're not certain at this point in time. Let me just put that. We will evaluate as we put this together. And I think, obviously whenever you decide to go to the ballot to ask a question, this type of question in particular, you want to make sure you've crossed every I and dotted every T. And so although we have our eyes set on this November, in terms of a great opportunity, it wouldn't surprise me if we wanted to make sure we continue to do more due diligence and come in 2016 or later. Probably not much later than that, though. Yes, Channel 7 had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, is it Judy? Yeah, if you don't mind.
Councilwoman Judy Montero?
Yeah, with the influx of the money and the upgrade, if you will, to the surrounding neighborhood, that will attract other folks perhaps to live in Globeville and its surrounding neighborhoods and that didn't live there before. With that influx of people comes gentrification. Are you prepared for the neighborhood to, lose some of its identity, if you will?
That conversation has been at the forefront of all of the meetings that we've had, including conversations about the neighborhood plan. And so we're working very hard to be mindful of that, and we have other mechanisms, other committees that are working on looking at jobs, employment, and training for the neighborhood, also looking at mixed income and affordable housing for people in the neighborhood. So we're applying all of our best thinking to balance out what the future will bring.
Yes,
Yeah, there's 3 applications in for the RTA. Why should they pick yours?
Well, there are a lot of reasons to pick us. One, I think you will see as part of this proposal that there's a great deal of city commitment being forged as part of this effort. 2, we're really the catalytic. And I think it's very important that I underscore the role that the city is looking to play, catalytic. As we have played in, as Kelly pointed out, Central Platte area, as we have played around the Union Station project, which had a 500, almost $600 million investment, and now has leveraged over $2 billion worth of private investment. This is a public-private partnership going forward. I think the state will find that this proposal is very attractive because it doesn't just lend all of the burden on the public sector. We expect that as the city makes its commitment and the RTA becomes real, and the city ultimately moves to extend the tourism tax, that we will demonstrate our public commitment to complete this. And so the stacking element of this should be very attractive to the state in terms of it being a multiple process to get it funded. Plan B is for us to go back into the drawing board and to use some of the creative minds like Carrie Kennedy and her finance team and some of the great, very smart people in our community to say, you know, how do we right-size this to the resources that we have available to us? But I think that very clearly this is a very appropriate project, one that really meets the criteria for the RTA in terms of adding additional new tourism to our city and our state. This should almost double, more than double, our number of tourists coming to the area. Yeah, please.
You know, one of the things, and it gets to your first question, Kathy, is, you know, when we look across the country at facilities like this, and we certainly looked at examples from around the country, but I can tell you in at least the scan we've done, I mean, there is no facility or campus like this anywhere in this country. I mean, it is not a, you know, LA Live, we looked at Fort Worth, we looked at Oklahoma City, and all those have unique features, but to have a 240-acre agricultural campus literally at the north end of your capital city, in a capital city that's becoming a global player, is really unprecedented. And so the ability to blend commerce and education and entertainment and research all in one place at the nexus of a transit line that moves to an international airport, there is no example like this anywhere that I'm aware of. And one of the key components of the RTA is the project unique. I can't think of a more appropriate and unique project to pitch to the state that does all the things they're asking us to do and ultimately drive new tourists to our state, that will ultimately, you know, extend out into the Front Range. And I think the thing that the other piece I would just say is that it's all the work that's going to happen going forward and all the new partnerships that are going to emerge on an educational front, on a research front, on a private sector front, that will make this even more unique. And I'm as excited about that and the ability to go out and talk to folks about becoming our partners to make this the premier ag research facility, entertainment facility in the entire nation.
Can you go through the timetable now of this RTA process? How is it fast tracked?
Yeah, and I may have to lean on my expert here, but the timetable for the state, so today it was due today, there is a third-party analyst that is hired by the state to do a review. So assuming all three submit, the third-party analyst will start to engage that third-party analyst over the course of the spring and the summer. There'll be a back and forth with them. You know, they'll have questions about our assumptions, about the project itself, and then that will ultimately lead to some modifications to our proposal, and then ultimately a presentation to the EDC board, the Economic Development Commission board, late summer, early fall, and then a recommendation by the third-party analysts late fall, and then a decision kind of late fall, early winter of this year. And so a deal has to be done by the end of this year, by 15, because this is the last round for the RTA legislation.
On the election, if you don't go this November, can you go next November, or what's?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, as the mayor alluded, well, obviously we're focused on this November, but I certainly think, you know, if things don't line up, we would then look at November of 16.
Kelly, looking at the other RTA applications, as far as what you know about them at least, is there capacity to approve more than one as far as bonding capacity the state has?
Yeah, great question. So the state, the EDC can approve 2. And when you look at the threshold, in any given fiscal year, the state cannot release more than 50 million total. And even with the existing 3 that have been approved, plus assuming they pick 2 out of this round, that they don't even get remotely close to that threshold. So there's enough capacity based on the threshold they established to award up to the 2 and stay well below that 50 million threshold on any annual year. Okay?
Thank you all.
Yeah. Oh. We'll let Betty close. How about that?
I just wanted to say it's so exciting, and we thought for a while it got really dark. We thought we were going to lose the stock show at all. And then we had a press conference, and Paul got up and said, we will be here. He says, I'm going to tell you something you're very pleased to know. We're going to be here for another 109 years.
Good way to close. Thank you, Betty.
Denver 8 TV, your city, your source.